Hello, this is the Manchurian Journal, and today we're going to do a video about Spangenhelms. Two bits for it. One, pros and cons. Two, the general history of it. Now, we're going to start off with the latter first. Now, we're going to start with the word. The word Spangenhelm is of Germanic origin, and it translates into a segmented helmet, because the helmet and those that branch off the main idea of the Spangenhelm are made up of different pieces, multiple pieces, and some of the characteristics that are common in most of these helmets is that they have a central ridge to help hold it together. Where did this helmet come from, though? Well, the earliest depiction we have of it is of Sarmatian warriors from Trajan's column. The Sarmatians, in case you can't identify, are the guys with the armored horses. That's who we're looking at. Look at their helmets. You see the little lines that go across them, compared to the Roman ones? Yeah, that's the segmented helmet in question. Now, it's theorized that the segmented helmet came from peoples of the Eurasian steppe. Two people groups of the Scythians and the Sarmatians, who we mentioned earlier. They migrated into the Eurasian steppe around around areas that surround the Black Sea coast and the Caucasus Mountains, around that area, and further inward near what was then known as Dacia. So around there. Now, that's a theory, though, so take it with a couple pinches of salt. We don't know for sure. But that is the earliest depiction, is of Trajan's column. Where this helmet became really popular was around the 6th century, because a lot of Germanic tribes and Eurasian steppe tribes are migrating across and just wrecking shit up, to be a bit vulgar with it, and to be a bit blunt with it as well. Because one big guy, one of the reasons why all these tribes are moving in is because of Attila. Everyone's running away from Attila, and the Germanic tribes and many of the Goths tended to wear either lamellar helmets, Spangen lamellar helmets, and Spangenhelms. And in just around the 6th century, that helmet just tended to be very popular. The Romans used it, the Germanics used it, the Sarmatians, when they were still around. That general area of Europe just tended to use that helmet a lot. And it lasted a good while. It lasted long enough for different cultures to put their own little spin on it. The Romans put their spin on it with the Interkaisa and the Berkasovo helmets. We're not going to go into what differentiates the two. You can look it up yourselves. But I'll give you a quick summary. The Interkaisa is made up of less pieces with a smaller cheek pieces. The Berkasovo is made up of more pieces with larger cheek plates. There we go. That's a quick enough explanation to differentiate the two. And those two are the main types, because there are other types of ridge helmets that the Romans used, but we're not going to go into those. So, the Romans used it, the Anglo-Saxons used it. Helmets like the Coppergate helm, you may have seen if you've been in the medieval weapons and armor community for a long while. Galgrim did a video on testing one many years back, and I'll link that video down in the description. So yeah, that Coppergate helmet's made up of 8 pieces. That's what differentiates them from, say, the Vendel helmets and the earlier helmets. Vendel helmets are their own little spin on it. They're also made up of different pieces. Similar sort of construction you can see with the later Yermanbu helmets, which is those spectacle helmets from the Viking Age. There we go. And it's hypothesized that some Norman helmets were also of Spangenhelm design. I could see that due to metallurgy not really being that advanced yet, at least compared to later time eras, which is one of the reasons why the Spangenhelm fell out of favor eventually, is because metallurgy became better. It became better, and over the course of a few more centuries, around the late medieval period, you don't really see Spangenhelms anymore, at least in Western Europe and Central Europe. Now, what are the pros and cons of the Spangen helmet? Well, we're going to start with the cons first. One, I would say it has more weaknesses than a single or 2-piece construction helmet. Because, look, I have a sketch here, so I can better illustrate this point, because I had to record this video twice. So, let me just zoom in. You see where, you see where this area is on the helmet? yeah, that's where that's where I propose like the main weaknesses are. Anywhere around this point, just like in the inner parts of the helmet, especially near the rivets, if you bust that open, the helmet's pretty vulnerable then. If you strike there, the helmet will be more prone to failure. But that just goes with how it was designed. You hit where the rivets are, and you just bust apart the helmet. Well, it's not gonna bust apart, but hit it enough times and hit it enough spots, it'll eventually will start to fall apart on you. Cheek pieces may get loose, aventails might get ripped off, depending on your design of Spangenhelm. But that's one weakness, will be those areas that are susceptible to hard blows and may get loose or pushed out of their rivets holes. Now, second con would be weight. I propose that Spangenhelms would be more heavier in some cases than other forms of Spangenhelm and later helmets because of the multiple plates, and in some configurations like the Coppergate helmet, where it's made up of 8-hole plates with the nasal, with the cheek pieces, with the aventail. Those configurations could get very heavy very fast. So a second con would be weight. It can get really heavy really fast. There we go. That's my 2 cons. Now we're going to go on to the 2 pros. 1, it would be a lot more easier to repair than, say, a 2-piece or 1-piece helmet. Reason being, if one of those plates gets out, you can always just, put it back in and re-rivet it. Or, if the plate is too badly damaged, you can just get rid of that plate, get a new plate, put it in and rivet it. If the rivet gets busted out, you just replace the rivet. If the ring gets damaged, you just replace the ring. So, I would say, in that instance, it's similar thing with brigandines. And if a plate in a brigandine gets busted, you can always just replace the one plate. You don't have to replace a whole load of it. Same thing goes with like lamellar and scale. If a couple of plates just go down, you can always just replace it. Spangenhelms, if a piece goes out, you can always replace it. So 1 pro is that it could be easily repairable. 2, I would say it is cheaper to make than 2-piece and 1-piece helmets, and this especially applies when we go on to the later medieval period. Around the around the high medieval period. Because by the late medieval period, that helmet is just gone. It just disappears off the face of the earth in Western and Central Europe. So it would be cheaper because you don't have to spend, well, in a way, you don't have to spend as much time making the helmet as you do with a 2-piece and 1-piece. And it would generally be, you would require less skill to make a Spangenhelm than a 2-piece to 1-piece helmet. There we go. That's my pros and cons. So just to recap, 2 cons is 1, the first weakness is that if you strike around the plates where it's closest to the rivets, it can go bust and the helmet will be less structurally sound. 2, it can be very heavy depending on the design of Spangenhelm, i.e. the Coppergate helm. Now, 2 pros. 1, it can be very cheap. 2, it can be easily repairable. There, boom, that's my 2 pros, 2 cons, and yeah, that's about it. Sorry about the background noise, I can't really do much about that. The next video will be about, I don't know, I'll figure something out. Maybe another weapon or a weapon design thing or something about armor. But yeah, peace out.